Howard Robert Hughes Sr. was born on September 9, 1869 in Lancaster, in the United States of America. Hughes went to school at Missouri Military Academy, after which he enrolled at Harvard University in 1893. His stay at Harvard, however, was short-lived, dropping out the following year and enrolling at Iowa State University. He was a classic entrepreneur, trying and failing at many things before eventually making it big in the oil business. After leaving Harvard in 1894, I found myself in the law school of the Iowa State University. It was my father's wish that I succeed him in his practice. Too impatient to await the course of graduation, I passed the examination before the Supreme Court of Iowa and began the practice of law. I soon found the law a too exacting mistress for a man of my talent, and I quit her between dark and dawn and have never since been back. I decided to search for my fortune under the surface of the earth. About 120 years ago, in January 1901, a very lucrative oil field was discovered in Texas. The oil field became known as the Spindletop, pioneering what would later become known as the Texas oil boom. Many companies started drilling haphazardly for oil in the area, with the population tripling in 3 months and land prices climbing rapidly. By 1904, Howard Hughes Sr., now a married man, had seen the opportunity in the oil business and had started capitalizing in the industry. Such a visionary was Hughes that in 1908 he filed for a patent for the sharp Hughes rock bit, which was essentially a drill bit for penetrating hard rock during the oil mining process. Word has it that Hughes could not have been the designer of the drill bit, but because of his legal experience, the value in patenting it was clear to him. The patent was granted the following year, and Hughes subsequently co-founded the Sharp Hughes Tool Company. After the death of his co-founder 3 years later, he started frantically buying stock of the company, and by 1918 had full ownership of the company. By all accounts, Howard Hughes Sr. was a successful man, the man who had obeyed his father's wishes of becoming an attorney, but later defied them, following his own heart into the oil business. This is the man who saw the value in patenting a rock drilling artifact at the right place and at the right time. Howard Hughes Sr. died from a heart attack at the age of 54 in his office, leaving behind his only child, the 19-year-old Howard Hughes Jr. Howard Hughes Jr. had been born on December 24, 1905. His mother had passed on 2 years before his father's passing, when he was only 16 years of age. Now, at 19, Hughes was left an orphan. But because his father had left 75% of the very successful Hughes Tool Company in his name, Hughes was an unusually wealthy orphan. As a boy, Hughes had been very precocious, demonstrating unusual abilities and inclinations. At the age of 12, he had built a radio transmitter and later a motorized self-starting bicycle. At 14, Hughes was flying aircraft. At age 19, at the back of a receipt, Hughes sat down to write his 4 massive life goals. I intend to be the greatest golfer in the world, the finest film producer in Hollywood, the greatest pilot in the world, and the richest man in the world. After his father's passing, Hughes dropped out of university to run the family business. However, Howard Hughes had dreams, and running a drill bit company was not one of them. So, just as his father had done years earlier, Hughes bought out his extended family that owned the remaining 25% of the company. This move allowed him to appoint competent management to run the day-to-day happenings of the company, while he got married and thereafter took off for Hollywood to realize his goal of becoming the finest film producer in Hollywood and the greatest pilot in the world. Alright guys, I think this is the perfect place to end of this video, which serves as part 1 to the Howard Hughes series. But before I do that, I'd like to share an interesting piece about the connection between Howard Hughes, Elon Musk, and Tony Stark. I'm sure you might have heard that the character Tony Stark in Iron Man was inspired by Elon Musk, but this is not true. So the actual truth is that Tony Stark in Iron Man was inspired by Howard Hughes, but the actor Robert Downey Jr. wanted to figure out how a typical daring tech billionaire might behave, and so he went to visit Elon Musk in his SpaceX factories for inspiration for the character Tony Stark. So there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, push like, and I'll see you in the next one.